everyone, my name is Sydney with Benner Stride. A little bit about this channel is we talk about the equestrian industry, the business, and the marketing, and we try and combine them all together within this channel. So today we're going to be talking about a little taboo topic, and it's paying your employees under the table. Now, as a small business, we tend to try to find shortcuts, which is not always the best idea. So, some businesses tend to pay their employees under the table, and there's pros and then there's cons with doing this, just like any other ways or forms of paying your employees. Now, full disclosure, I am no accountant by any means. I just find my research by either asking accountants or doing my own research. And when you're watching this, it could be completely different by the time or when I filmed this video. So make sure you do your own research and make sure you stay up to date within your state, because each state is just a little different. And make sure you talk and get advice with legal information and your accounting information from a lawyer and an accountant. They're great people to have on your team. Highly recommend that. So going back onto the topic of paying your employees under the table, we should probably start off, well, what is an employee? So commonly employees are salary or wage based within what my research. They're on your schedule, they're on your time, and the employer sets those deadlines and the pay and everything. Now, there are other forms such as a 1099 contractor worker. So in the research I found, there was multiple different topics on, well, is it right or is it wrong? Ethically, it is not highly recommended. So your employee has to pay employment taxes. And when you're paying under the table, they're not paying that, because it's within their wage when you're handing them over commonly cash. And if the IRS finds out, then you're going to be penalized and you have to pay that as an employer when they find out. Also, with cash, it's really hard to track how much the employee is getting. So it makes it very taboo on the situation on, yes, I paid them, well, how much? There's no receipt. As, for instance, a check. There is recording there. There is a possibility that the employer who is paying under the table to an employee may face jail time as well. Now, go back to the beginning where I did the disclosure. Make sure you know all the details. Talk to your lawyer, talk to your accountant, know your state and what their laws are. So not only as an employer will you go down, but also the employee will go down with you if the IRS finds out that you're paying under the table. They're not paying their taxes, they're not paying their federal, their state, their everything. So once they find it and audit you guys, they're gonna question you and you'll face fines, higher tax rates, or possible jail time. And with the employees, they don't have a pay stub, so they don't have any record showing how they received the money. And when it starts adding up over time, then it's going to start getting questionable. Well, how are they paying off, say, their student loan without income that's recorded? And it won't show up in their Social Security account. So when it comes to their retirement, their payout will be very minimal because they didn't have that paycheck to justify, well, where'd that money come from? Because there was no pay stub. So, a few more pitfalls just to reiterate on what it is when you're paying under the table. Number one, safety risks. Number two, wage statements. Number three, proof of paying or getting paid. Number four, making mistakes within your payroll. 5, potential penalties on both the employer and employee. 6, there will be possible negative consequences for both the employer and employee within the future. Number 7, future funding options. Those 7 can go more in depth in each individual item, but those are beginning ideas of what the pitfalls could be for both employee, employer. If you are going to pay with cash, there are a few topics that you definitely should look into and do your research and talk to your lawyer and accountant about it. 1, know the tax requirements within your state, your federal, your everything. Make sure you know what those are. Number 2, know the requirements of a wage and hour when paying with cash for an employee. 3, have accurate records. I can't emphasize that enough. Accurate records is a complete game changer. 4, follow similar to an employee and or an independent contractor. Know what the regulations are for those as well. Now, this might be a lot of information all at once, and it can go even further in depth. And sometimes I can't even fathom all the regulations and rules and the taxes, the codes, the everything. So that's why almost every point of this video, have an accountant and a lawyer on your team. Have them explain the stuff. That's what they specialize in. Don't be afraid to ask a person who specializes in it a ton of questions and do your own research. Then when you come up with those questions, then you're ready to ask them, well, what do you think about this? Or what do you think about this? What should I do for this or this? For the bottom line of paying under the table, it can be nice when you're first starting out and you don't have to worry about paying all those taxes and all those things. But at the end of the day, you're putting pretty high risks for both you as an employer and for your employees. Definitely stay in compliance with your regulations. There are a bunch of options also that you can look into, others doing the bookkeeping, the payroll, doing all those things for you. Yes, it's going to be money, but in the longevity of things, would it save you money? Just toss up the ideas, like weigh your pros and cons of how you want to pay your employees and what's best for you and them. One question to always ask yourself, and I always ask myself this too, as an employee or an employer. If I had a kid, how would I want them to get paid? How would I want them to be treated? If I answer those and say I'm running a business, am I treating that person as if I want my kid to be treated? Yes or no? And explain why yes or no. I know this was a taboo topic to talk about, but we're in a new year. This is a year to ask yourself questions. Don't throw things under the rug and just, oh, I'll deal with that later. No, deal with it now. So then the future years can be better. Why not start now? Try and make a list for yourself of the pros and the cons of which way you think you should pay your employees as well. List out all the pros, list out all the cons. Which one is going to be better for you and your employees? All right. Make sure you talk to an accountant and a lawyer that is part of your team there to help you. That's what they're there for. Yes, you have to pay, and it's not fun, but they're great to have on your team. Highly, highly recommend. Thanks again for joining Benner Stride today. We appreciate all your likes, comments, and subscribes, and even just watching our channel. Thank you again, and we wish you a happy 2021 and look forward to seeing you guys in future videos coming up.